Good morning. It is the 13th of April, Thursday morning, early Thursday morning, 2023. And on a table this morning, we're looking at Tank GP, a racing game for one or more players by Mike Lambo. This I'm excited about. I haven't got to play it. I've been playing the war game group. My war game group's been playing Dune. A lot of Dune. Like for the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've been playing Dune every time. So, uh, that's the flavor of the month, if you will, or the flavor of the spring. So, but I just received this a couple days ago. I've looked at it a little bit, but haven't played it yet, and now I'm just thoroughly excited for it because, as some of y'all may know, I like the art of a odd war game, right? I like the idea of a war game that may even stretch the limits of what a war game is, right? So we're going to look at Tank GP. Tank GP is a racing game, but also a war game. Just to be clear, it is not meant to be serious, realistic, or historically accurate. It is meant to be fun, quick to play, and have opponents which are challenging to race against, but easy to operate. All right, right there. Let me stop. That's the disclaimer, if you will. But Mike Lambo, he should know how war gamers are. They ain't gonna accept that. Some of them's gonna be like, right, historically accurate, right? So that's just how we are. And I'm not making fun. I'm like that too. I'm making fun, but just poking good fun at us. But he puts that disclaimer, and good for him. But still, that won't stop criticism. Up to 10 different tanks race against and fire at each other with the ultimate aim of being the first to cross the winning line. Tanks range from strong, slower heavyweights such as the Tiger, yeah man, that's a heavyweight, and the Churchill, to the weaker, faster light tanks such as the M3 Stuart. The game has been designed as a solo game, but there is no reason why two or more players cannot race against each other. Indeed, tanks controlled by the game system used in solitaire play can be added to a multiplayer game to fill out the race as and when desired. Very cool. Wasn't Mike Lambo made a post? Mr. Lambo made a post, I do think, that said he may be stretching the limits of what a war game is. Let me tell you, you are not in my opinion, firmly a war game. We always had these kind of racing games, right? One of my favorite systems is Car Wars, which is certainly a war game. It's modern tank combat, let's say, apocalyptic tank combat, let's say, in the rubble and destruction of the earth. And even games like Circus Maximus, right? And Circus Minimus, for that matter. There is a Circus Minimus. Look it up. It's a cool game. Those are war games, right? But they are also racing games. So this here is so cool. Cool to the fact where I almost want to make a big hex grid and do it with miniatures. This would be so cool. There's Mike Lambo's other game books. It's a bunch of them. Where are we up to now, Mike? About 13, maybe? 14, maybe? It's a bunch of them. All right, so we've already pretty much read the introduction. We will look at how the book works. This book is a solitaire and multiplayer game. You play the game, and the book can provide the opponents, the AI, or artificial intelligence. You will need 7 standard 6-sided dice to play. Although the pages could be copied and drawn on, erasing as necessary, it is recommended that the counters provided at the back of the book are used. All right. That's enough of that. The tanks. Let's look at the tanks here. I have looked at them. They are pretty. Churchill there. This chart, wait a minute, let me read this. This chart contains the base information about the various tanks in the game and will be explained and referred to below. The information also appears on the page next to each race track for ease of reference. Yeah, that's cool. Churchill, it's a Tiger 1. That's the only issue I see with this. That yellow right there. Whew, it's awfully light. But actually, when I look through the camera, it shows up better. Just, man, it's awfully light when I'm looking at it naked. Crusader, a Panzer IV, the M4 Sherman, the T-34, 85, the M3 Stuart, the Panzer III, the Cromwell, and the M18 Hellcat. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, you got the Churchill and the Tiger. Definitely heavies. Man, the Tiger could take so much. Man. Very cool. Rules. Objective. This is a racing game. The objective is to cross the finish line first. Yeah, without a doubt. The racetrack's each racetrack consists of a series of hexes which tanks can move through. Some hexes have terrain features such as woods and buildings. These features look like and have the effect noted in the table below. Very cool. Very cool. So let's look at the turn. During the tank's activation, this is a turn sequence. It will repair if it is damaged. This takes up to its full activation for the turn, which ends at this point. If not damaged, then it will move and turn, together referred to as maneuvering. That's correct. As it progresses along the racetrack, then fire at its opponents if possible. A tank must complete all its maneuvering actions before it can fire. That's kind of cool, man. When you repair if it's damaged, and the move and turn, and the fire if possible. I think when you're making, it's a very simplified turn sequence, but let me say this: when you're making that turn sequence, I think it fits a tank very well, right? It fits a tank's a odd thing to be to be racing, right? But I think that it fits that kind of sounds right, a lumbering tank, if you will. Very, or an oddly maneuvering tank. Yeah, very, very cool. Very, very cool. A tank must complete all the maneuvering actions before it can fire. The first tank to cross the finishing line after the requisite number of laps is the winner. Yeah. So how many laps do we got? Let's look here. Move two. Okay. Fire. Well. So let's look at it. Again, done like his other game books, but this is just such a cool, it's a very cool theme. Love it. We're up to 23 pages of rules. 23 pages of rules. All right. The circuit. All right. It's track one. How many track? Yeah, you see, that is a track. That's awesome. Oh man, I so want to blow this up and do and tape it down to a table and do a miniature. Or, man, you could probably just make the terrain, do the whole thing a miniature. Yeah, I'm going crazy, right? Could you imagine that set up at a con? That would be awesome, by the way. If you set it up at a con, people would be wanting to play and race, I'm telling you. The lakes, all right, got some more. How many tracks do we have? Love racing, man, so this is something right up my alley. And 10, 11, or just 10. 10's fine. That's a good number. I just need this right here. Look at that. Look at that. That'd be perfect to set up. Love racing. Love the idea of racing, right? I mean, a Ford versus Ferrari movie was such a great movie to me. But, yeah, I mean, you grow up around racing, and, of course, most of the racing I grew up around with stock cars and dirt tracks and so on. But, a great thing to do on a Friday night, right? Or it was until big money gets involved, but it still is some places. Well, but so yeah, so this is cool. This is absolutely cool and absolutely right. He when he says he's you know stretching the idea of a war game. But again, I loved Car Wars. Car Wars. It just it just kind of broke out into too much after a while. But when I was playing Car Wars, I was playing that really before I was into a war game. Not really thinking of Car Wars as a war game. I was playing that, and yeah, I was playing that years ago. So there it is. Wow, I'm impressed. I'm very tickled to death with this. Like I said, I almost want. I think I got some old Access and Allies, the miniature game. If you remember the Access and Allies miniature game, which I actually enjoyed, although it was okay, but it was simple. It was just you was buying booster packs and so on. Thought it was kind of neat, neat idea. I enjoyed playing that back then. I'd like to take some of those tanks and set them up for a race. That would be just amazing. All right, it is what it is, and it is such a cool idea. Yeah, Mike Lambo. We need some more. This is very artsy to me, right? I like to take something that is not always what you would think of as a war game and turn it into a war game, like racing with tanks. That's cool. That is cool. If you're interested in any other games that may stretch the idea of a war game, you can look at one of my games. This is Return Address Cat Low, a Vietnam letter writing game. I am attempting to simulate writing letters home or writing letters to other family members from Vietnam, and even receiving letters. Letter writing to the servicemen is very important. What has been traditionally a very less now than it has been, although care packages are still very important to the servicemen. Letters where their outlet to the world, right? So that's on Amazon. Brent Campbell, get that, pick that up. I love this. I love this. This is one of my favorite things I've done. Working on another game. It should be out pretty soon. Almost done with it. Having to play test it now. Starting to play test it now. So I think it's some of my best work too. So there it is, y'all. Y'all have a great day. This one also you can get on Amazon. What is it? $15.99, $16, something like that. Well worth it if you're into war game race games, which I don't see how you cannot be into that. Y'all have a great day. Be careful out there. Stay safe, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.